Brown-Phillips coming to you today. My topic is why the funding doesn't matter. Okay, so what do I mean by why the funding doesn't matter? So a few days ago, I did a video, and in the video was a case study, and I uploaded it if you're watching on YouTube or some of the other social media sites that I am currently streaming on. I did a case study of a particular real estate deal that I am working on. So, if you're not familiar with me, I always don't want to assume that people know who I am or familiar with my work. But as I said, my name is Lorelia, and I primarily work with real estate professionals, helping them to be able to leverage alternative funding, to be able to build their real estate portfolio, expand it, leveraging different type of funding sources. And normally I always show and I share the results of my clients. But I said, you know what? I'm going to start to pull back the curtain of what I'm doing so I can show people what is possible. Because there's a lot of misinformation here in the space of funding and financing. You have a lot of people who are taking sound bites of what a lot of people are saying, and what happens is it leaves the end user really confused. And I've had a lot of people who have came to me confused because of the sound bites. And one thing about me, I always want to share the full picture of what could be possible. And the reason why I say what could be possible is because that is what I want to talk about today, about why the funding doesn't matter. And the reason why the funding doesn't matter is because everything is an elevation. If you've ever heard me talk about part of the framework that I help clients with when I'm helping them get access to financing, is a business funding capital stack. And a business funding capital stack has different levels of elevation, starting with unsecured funding all the way to private funding, where it's individuals or entities, but it's not traditional financing. You're not going to a bank. These are individuals or companies or LLCs or corporations that are lending their money to be able to get a return on an investment of real estate. And a lot of times, these individuals who are looking for this return on investments, one, they understand how money works, and they're looking to pretty much um, what's the word? They want to be able to still be involved in real estate, but don't want to have an active role. So what they do is they'll put their money to work. And so, with that being said, like I said, what I teach people is an elevation. And so, one of the misconceptions in the marketplace when it comes to financing and funding is that a lot of people, they want to be a real estate millionaire overnight. And they think that if they just get some access to funding, if they can just get that American Express Platinum card or that Chase Sapphire card, they're off to the races. And I'm the one to tell you, I'm going to be the truth bearer and tell you that if you don't have an understanding of what it is that you're investing in, how you're going to put that money to work, how you're going to leverage it, how it's going to make you money, there's no amount of money that's going to cure that. And that is what a lot of people don't know. Like I said, I'm not new to this topic. If you've listened to any of my content, majority of the time I have always said that you have people now, at least in the online space, that they know they're at square one, meaning they've never did deals, they've never invested in real estate, they have not even had access to their own funding, meaning they've never managed their own personal credit cards with with the proper stewardship in order to multiply the money that they currently have. But they think that if they just get some business credit and business funding, that what they don't know how to do is automatically going to be cured. What do I mean? An individual who starts a business, they don't even know how to bring in a dollar into their business. They're new to real estate. They don't even know how to get their first real estate deal. They don't even know how to examine and analyze their first real estate deal. Now, I'm not talking about the primary home buyer. I'm not talking about the first time home buyer, the person who's looking to get FHA. I'm talking about those who desire to be a real estate investor, meaning they may be interested in fix and flips. They may be interested in buying homes, um, things of that nature. A lot of times, many people don't want to start at square one. They want to automatically go to from A to Z. So now that they think that if they just get some financing, some funding, some business credit, they're going to all of a sudden, become a real estate wizard. And that is why I've always said that the funding doesn't matter. And you may say, well, Lori, what do you mean by the funding doesn't matter? So, as I was saying before, my last video that I posted here on YouTube, I did a case study. Now, in this case study, I shared my results of what I'm doing because I normally talk about what my clients are doing, but I said I'm going to pull the curtain back and I'm going to share with you what I'm doing. And so in that case study, I talked about me purchasing real estate mortgage notes. And during the course of that video and that case study, I talked about, and I pray my computer don't die. I forgot to plug it up. But in the course of me doing this case study, I shared on the video how me having the ability to be the bank. If you don't know what I mean about be the bank, that's not just a moniker of some wordplay. It's not some branding thing that I'm talking about. I'm literally talking about a strategy in real estate that is not common to most. And that is your ability to be able to be the bank, whereas individuals who are making their mortgage payment can make their payment to you. Now, I'm not here to convince you on the real estate strategy. I'm not here to, share with you if it works or if it not works. All I'm saying is that is my real estate investment strategy because I'm interested in cash flow. I'm not interested in owning a home because when you own the mortgage and individuals who own a house make their mortgage payment, they're making it to you, which in turn is cash flow. It's passive cash flow. And so I'm not interested in owning the home. Now, one may say, well, I want to own the home, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I understand my real estate strategy. So, with me understanding my real estate strategy, I understand, how much money I want to be able to, how much money I want to receive as a person who is the owner of the mortgage note if I decide, and I talked about it in the case study, if I decide that I want to leverage debt, that's right, leverage debt, I literally can look and analyze the deal and ask myself, does this make financial sense? Let me give you an example. You have people who talk about, and that's why I said the funding doesn't make sense. You have people who say, you know what, don't use your personal credit for anything. Don't use your personal credit for anything. Only use business credit. Only use business funding. And you know what? That is a great thing to say to people who are not that financially literate. I'm going to be honest. Because once again, don't try this at home if you don't understand it. In the case study, I illustrated. Let me understand this. I could possibly buy a mortgage note because I won the bid, buy a mortgage note for $16,000, be in control of the real estate asset. I'm in control, meaning the person who's making the mortgage payment now makes the mortgage payment to me. Let's just say I have that money sitting in retirement and I want to be able to now put more money into my self-directed IRA. I decide to leverage my money in my self-directed IRA. Or maybe I have a line of credit. I'm talking about on the personal side that I want to be able to have this money to make me more money. Do you really think I give a hoot about if it's personal or business? No, because I'm allowing my money to make money. That's the difference. Most people don't know how to analyze if the money that they're leveraging, the so called debt, the business credit, the business funding, the personal credit, call it what you want, they don't know how to analyze if that money they're leveraging is going to make them more money. Why? Because they're just stuck in a cycle of, I just want a credit card. They're stuck in a cycle of, I think this is what's going to happen. And that is the reason what puts a lot of people behind the eight ball. Because, see, a lot of people would want to make the excuse of, well, it was personal credit. I don't want no personal credit. The reason why I got into a financial bind is because I was using my personal credit. If I was using my business credit or if I knew how to get some business funding, I would not get into a financial bind. I've always told people, whether they're clients or their prospects, that's baloney. That is baloney. The way you manage your personal credit, funding, or what have you is the same way you're going to manage your business credit, your business funding. The type of funding doesn't matter. You don't automatically not know how to don't know how to manage your personal credit. And then if you get some business credit of 100K or a quarter of a million or whatever you're being promised, now all of a sudden you become this, financial whiz. You know how to find real estate properties. You know how to analyze real estate properties. You know how to now take that money and grow it. Baloney. It's baloney because the funding doesn't matter. What matters is your financial IQ. It's your ability to be able, if you want to play in the space of, hey, I want to be able to leverage credit. I want to be able to leverage debt to invest in real estate because now that's the new moniker a lot of people are talking about. They're not going to show you how to do it. What they're going to share with you is silos. Let me help you get a credit card and then let me help you invest in real estate. And by all means, it's nothing wrong with that. If all you want to obtain is a Chase Sapphire or American Express Platinum card, by all means, do it. If that is what you desire. But what you don't want to do is really believe that let me get some business credit and then automatically I'm going to know how to invest in real estate. And I'm here to tell you, if the person, the expert, the influencer, whoever you're working with have not told you, no. Understand and become a master of understanding what in real estate you want to invest in. Because part of my framework, it's a pillared system, and the first pillar is you just getting clarity. What do you want to invest in? See, for me, no one can sell me on I need to do fix and flips. I don't care, how masterfully people can curate these Instagram posts or these social media stories where they're taking, a fixer upper and making it beautiful. Nothing about that. Because remember, I said I normally share my clients' stories, but I'm going to talk about me. Nothing about that tickles my fancy. None of it. So I don't need to be convinced that in order for me to invest in real estate or to make money in real estate, I have to do fix and flips, or I have to invest in multi properties, or I have to do buy and holds. I don't need to be convinced of that. I understand that if I leverage this amount of money, whether it's my self directed IRA, whether it's someone else's self directed IRA, or if it's, if I'm just leveraging credit, I understand that I know that this particular financial instrument, this mortgage note, what is the yield that I need to earn in order for this particular asset to cash flow. That's what I'm interested in. And then the money now becomes part of the equation. Now, okay, I'm clear on my yield. I'm clear on my return on investment. I know what I know what I'm going to cash flow, not possible. I know what I'm a cash flow. Now, what's the funding source that will suit this asset in this investment? And now do a compare and comparison. Do I want to leverage personal credit? Do I want to leverage business? Because a lot of times, especially when it comes to lines of credit, the interest rate on the business line of credit a lot of times is higher than the personal. Why is that, Lorelia? Your expert may not have told you that. Because a business, when it comes from the lending side, they consider that a risk. So your interest rate may be a higher. So if my interest rate is lower with my personal line of credit, wouldn't I want to use that? Once again, I'm looking at numbers. The data doesn't lie. See, people lie, but numbers don't lie. Because remember, I'm making a financially sound decision. I'm looking at my yield when it comes to mortgage notes. I'm looking at what I want to cash flow. I'm looking at the interest rate. I'm looking at a lot of other things. Of course, this is for illustration purposes. But then, what funding source would like to use to be able to leverage that would make it a win to invest in this particular asset? Those are the things that I'm looking at. I'm not doing it based on, well, this is what I think. Oh, it sounds good to just get some business credit. That's why you have many individuals who are either currently making excuses of why they're in a financial bind. Oh, I got all this business credit and now I don't know what to do with it. I'm in debt. Whatever the story is, it's because from the start, the person never knew what was the game plan with the money. People just want to assume that money is going to fix a problem that's already there. And even though that's beyond the scope of this video, I talked about it 3 weeks ago when I did my 3-part series, how to underwrite a real estate deal leveraging alternative financing. In that video, part one, or either part two, I forget, I talked about that being an inherent problem. Funding's not the problem. It's not the funding. It's not personal. It's not business. I know there's a lot of sound bites on the internet. It's very salacious, and people have you think, oh, if you get business credit, you don't have no worries. Let me tell you, that play means that I'm going to leverage business credit, and if I don't have the money to pay back, then oh well. And then I just get a new LLC. And I'm gonna tell you that play is gonna land you in jail. I'm here to tell you, if nobody has ever told you before, be very careful of any expert, influencer, teacher, or what have you who's telling you that you can get business credit and not be responsible for any of the money that you incur with that debt. Be very careful. So that's really all I have for today. My point of this video is pretty much the funding doesn't matter. If you're doing it for real estate, it's the deal. The deal matters. Understand your deal. understand your numbers.